her, you know. So this is something that we have to start thinking about. We have to start making sure that we employ our children. We can employ our children, and the youth right now feel worthless. They feel like they don't have a future because we are not securing that future for them. Exactly, because we teach our kids to go to school to work for a white man, as opposed to, you know, preparing. You know, most white families prepare themselves for any money that they make. It should stay in their family. My son is going to work he's going to work in the family business. He's going to keep it going, and you are going to have children because your children are going to keep this business going. That's how they think, you know, and we have been trained, you know, taught that, no, you need to work for someone else as opposed to building your own and building a legacy so that it will continue on. And that's the biggest change that we have to make. And that's something that has to be across the board. You know, first of all, what can you offer this nation? What can you offer? You know, what are you doing to make sure that you're going to not just work? Because working, of course we need people who work. But, I mean, what can you build? What can you build on that particular skill set? And if we're not doing that, then we're going to have what we have here. You know, people that are dependent on, just a salary, as opposed to having a career, as opposed to having a skill set. You know, and that's what we got to do. It's very important that we instill that in our children from, you know, day one.
Well, I think, sister, with that being said, and with what Brother Kala was talking about earlier, as far as specializations, I think it kind of ties into, what the topic of the show was. When we're talking about land uses, we got to have people to fill in all those sectors, commercial sectors, industrial sectors. How are we going to have industrialists? Who are going to be the industrialists? You know, we're starting off from scratch. Basically coming from the United States and, you know, other countries throughout the diaspora. You know, who's going to fill in these voids? So what do you think about, you know, planning and mixed use development?
Exactly. And another thing, for some reason, you know, as Black people, we have this warped sense of reality where we think that every country that is in existence right now started out as that country as it is in its modern present day. They had to build that country up, and it didn't happen in a day. It didn't happen in 10 years. You know, these things, it's something that's going to take time. And I honestly don't understand where they get this thought process that it should just poof come out of thin air. Like, we don't have to work for it. Anything that you want to be successful, to sustain, you have to work for it. And
to cut you off, Sister Rod, I think that does hold true, that you do have to work for it. But, I mean, with today's technology and with things happening at the intensity that they are, it could happen a lot faster than we think. You know, a lot of brothers have mentioned Dubai. I mean, it has the fastest construction on, you know, curve on Earth. There's more construction there than anywhere. And, I mean, that kind of did come out of thin air. They had the money and the resources to do it. You know, with that being said, they did build it out, you know. Dubai doesn't look like...
They built it out, but you also got to think about how they built it out. You got to think about how they have, you know, people that are basically working for nothing to do it. You know, and it's a lot that goes into what's going on in Dubai. But we have to. There's somebody building that. There's somebody working those pieces of equipment that are building it. And with the technology that we do have right now, of course it's going to happen a lot faster than it did to build up the United States. But somebody has to work in order to get it there, and it can't be just the brothers and sisters in this small little group right here. It's going to take, more than just our small numbers. So
right.
That being said,
it is. I mean, it's gonna take a lot more people. But I was speaking with another one of the brothers earlier in the week, and we were talking about being realistic when we're looking at building this sustainable nation state. We're talking about as opposed to what we really believe, it might be white contractors, it might be Chinese contractors that are already over there. Just being realistic at it, we're going to take a realistic approach because they might have the know-how or might have the resources and capability to do so. However, with that would come a contract. There would be a contract where we would have skill transfers to Black African people, whether they're continental Africans or they're Black African people that came with us to our host nation state, where there's skill transfers, where if there was a Chinese contractor building up something or working on something, there'd be an assistant or apprentice that was Black African. And, learn those skills because it's more than just, businesses and being businessmen. We need, like, industrialists. We need engineers. We need, contractors, builders, everything, health, medical, administrative, just everything, school teachers. We want to build everything from scratch, institutions, colleges, just everything.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I say it's not going to happen, tomorrow. It will happen way faster than it did for America. But I'm just giving that as a diagram as to it's not going to happen tomorrow. And for some reason, every time we have these discussions with just the average Black person in the United States, they want to know what we are bringing to the table. You don't have anything substantial to show us. What did you bring to the table? It should be the next question. We have to get into our minds that we are building a nation from the ground up. Absolutely no way that's just going to magically happen. There is resources where it could happen a heck of a lot faster. But first we have to have monies to purchase those resources and persons to man those resources. So,
With that, also I had spoken with a brother earlier in the week. He was talking about, one, to that public-private partnerships, and two, we have the African American Fund or some type of measure. I mean, where it basically we'd be competing against Mr. Farrakhan's efforts with the Million Man March, where they had the hedge fund or the mutual fund that they're growing. But basically, we'd have a fund set up in such a way where you could say give $10 a month. We had a certain percentage or a certain segment of our population giving $10 a month to actually building a nation. Over time, that's extrapolated, and we have millions of dollars to work with. It's not billions, like it. And after a while, they see the work that they put into it and the money that they put into it, and they be like, oh, what's this African about? What's this nation being built about? You got to look up the offering our people.
I mean, actually, I completely get that. I'm just saying that, it's something that we have to reiterate with our people. Listen, no nation happened overnight, and if it's something that, if you want your children to have a future, the United States is not that future at all. At all. Right. So unless you are willing to venture out with your people, then you and your family just might as well just go wander off somewhere and die. And it's just that serious. It's really just that serious. It's really just that simple. It's either you going to get on board and say we want a future and I'm willing to build with my people, or y'all might as well stop going to work. Don't take the kids to the doctor anymore. Just stay in the house and watch cartoons or whatever, the reality TV until the food run out, and, let's go that way. Because there's no other option. It's either we get out of here and build our own nation, or they are going to pick us off one by one, and they're not picking off the drug dealers on the corner. They're going after the kids that's going to college. They're going after the kids that have a future for a reason. That's our natural resources right there that they are killing every single day.
Real talk.